Yeah, no, I'm kidding. Okay, so 20th century art. Let's do this. Alright, so a bit of background. In the 20th century, we had 2 world wars, a Cold War, some Arab wars, and the war. We won't talk about the last one. But the most important thing that happened was the art. So, during this time period, there were a lot of different art movements that helped shape art today. The first and foremost that we're going to be looking at is Expressionism. And what exactly is Expressionism? Well, Expressionism, as the name says, is designed to express a meaning or an emotion. And that was pretty much the main focus of what a lot of these art pieces try to achieve. So, this movement started out in the 20th century in good old Germany, and it aims to show the world from the perspective of the subject, or pretty much the guy expressing the emotion. And what this allows us to do is put ourselves in their shoes, and the painting or the art piece evokes emotion from us. So, the first painting I'm going to be talking about is The Scream by Edvard Munch. It's one of my favorite paintings, mainly because you can't really tell why he's screaming. There's this shroud of mystery that sort of envelops the portrait, right? Is it the guy's chilling in the back? Is it the fact that he realizes he's in a painting? Is it because of the crazy background? Is it because of what's in front of him? Is he screaming at us? There are so many questions when it comes to this art piece. However, the most important thing is the emotion that it makes us feel, and that's unsettled, worried, confused, and that's pretty much what the Expressionist period was all about. It was making us feel something by watching someone else experience something else. Next up, in the year 1910 and going forward, we have Cubism. Now, the beautiful thing about Cubism is while with the Scream and Expressionism we could see these figures, now they were more hidden, they were in plain sight, or there were no figures at all. And yet the emotion that we feel when looking at these paintings is still present. Now, the father of Cubism is Pablo Picasso, and aside from looking at the art movement of the 20th century as a whole, if we just focus on him, we can see that his earlier paintings slowly descend into Cubism as he develops and solidifies his style. And the emotion remains the same, despite not seeing any figures or anything recognizable, it's still there. Next up is Surrealism. And Surrealism came around from 1924 to 1966. And what made Surrealism so different from before is that Surrealism tries to evoke emotion using the subconscious mind. So we went from using figures to the abstract depiction of figures, and now to the subconscious mind. And one of the more famous paintings is The Persistence of Memory by Salvador Dali. And what's so unique about this painting is that it gives us this feeling of uneasiness without any figures and without any mention of a figure. And this was sort of the next stage. First, we had figures representing emotion and making us feel things. And then we had figures that were kind of there, but they still made us feel emotion. And now we have no human figures at all. And yet we still feel uneasy. And we still feel dread looking at this painting. However, not all hope is lost as we move towards postmodernism. And postmodernism was designed to critique as well as display skepticism, get you thinking, and sometimes even for political agendas. And the reason why it's here is because instead of making you feel a general emotion like fear, dread, worry, happiness, sadness, postmodernism is trying to influence the way you think. And one of the most important artists who specialized in postmodernism was Andy Warhol. And yes, while postmodernism originally was supposed to deviate from everything conventional about art, the one thing it didn't deviate from was making us feel an emotion or a certain way. And that's what Warhol does with a lot of his paintings. The following paintings are political and designed to convey a message or make you feel a certain way about a certain political figure. Of all these examples, you can see that a lot of them are discolored, distorted, or simply odd looking in order to convey the criticism that postmodernism is all about. Now we get to the evolution of what postmodernism introduced and its position on this timeline. First, we had figures to depict emotion. Then we had abstract or hidden figures to depict emotion. Then we had colors and objects to depict emotions. And finally, we conclude with ordinary objects that depict the very same emotion, however, this time discreetly, as seen here with the soup cans. So these are Campbell's soup cans, and Andy Warhol used to have them every single day for lunch for 20 years. And while doing that, he's seen a massive variety of flavors, and as such, he decided to create this art piece. Now, Campbell's soup cans may just look like ordinary soup cans to you and I. However, for people growing up in that time period, these soup cans have emotions tied to them, nostalgia. And that's what makes this painting so unique. Because while the other paintings are general and provide emotion to everyone looking at them, this one targets a specific age group, and that's what makes it so unique. I hope you enjoyed this video. Have an amazing day, and it was a pleasure working with all of you this semester.